The sleek obsidian ships of the Galactic Hegemony slid into Earth's solar system like shadows. They moved past Neptune, then Jupiter, their sensors scanning every planet, moon, and asteroid. Earth appeared on their screens, blue, green, and swirling white clouds. Admiral Daho stood on the bridge of his command ship, the Inevitable Conquest. His gray uniform bore the marks of many successful campaigns. The hegemony had conquered 3,000 worlds. Earth would be 3,001. "What do we know about these humans?" he asked. Captain Jisoo checked her datapad. "They've reached their moon, but haven't gone further. They still fight among themselves. They burn fossil fuels for energy." She looked up. "They are primitive by our standards." Daho nodded. He had seen this many times before. A standard integration. Then, "Send Ambassador Tawu to make the announcement." The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, landing at the United Nations building in New York. Earth's leaders had been given 1 day's notice to prepare for the arrival. They had spent that time in panic and rushed meetings. Ambassador Tawu stepped from his shuttle. He wore the formal black robes of the Hegemony Diplomatic Corps. 10 armed guards walked beside him. They had gray skin and stood 7 feet tall. Their weapons were small but could destroy a building. Inside the United Nations chamber, representatives from Earth's nations waited. Some looked afraid. Others seemed angry. A few appeared curious. Commander Elena Reyes stood to greet the ambassador. She represented Earth's United Defense Force, a military organization formed when the alien ships were first spotted. "Welcome to Earth," she said. "We hope for peaceful relations between our worlds." Tawu did not return her smile. "I am not here for relations. I am here to inform you of your new status." He activated a small device. A hologram of the galaxy appeared, with thousands of stars marked in red. "This is the Galactic Hegemony. We rule these stars and all planets around them. Your world has been chosen to join us as a protected territory." A human representative asked, "What does protected territory mean?" Tawu's expression didn't change. "You will provide resources and labor. In return, you receive the honor of being part of the greatest empire in the galaxy." The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Commander Reyes raised her hand for silence. "And if we prefer to remain independent?" she asked. Tawu laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. This is an announcement." He looked around the room. "Your technology is primitive. Your weapons are toys compared to ours. Your choice is simple. Join willingly or be forced to join. Many worlds have made the wrong choice. Their ruins serve as lessons to others." Commander Reyes stepped closer to him. She was much shorter than the ambassador, but showed no fear. "Before you decide our fate," she said quietly, "you should know that humans don't respond well to threats. We have one warning for you. Leave now." Tawu's translator must have malfunctioned. Surely these primitives weren't threatening the hegemony. He looked at the small human female before him. She didn't look away. "You have 1 day to prepare for integration," he said. "Any resistance will be met with force." As he turned to leave, Commander Reyes spoke again. "You're making a mistake." Back on his ship, Admiral Daho listened to Tawu's report. "These humans are either brave or stupid," said the ambassador. They spoke of resistance. Daho looked at Earth on his view screen. "They are backward and ignorant. They don't understand what they face." "Should we show them our power?" asked Captain Jisoo. "A demonstration might change their minds." Daho considered this. "Yes. Select one of their coastal cities. Commander Sangmin will take 5 ships and demonstrate our weapons from orbit. Minimal damage, but enough to show them resistance is pointless." As preparations began, only one officer voiced concern. Admiral Sunhee, commander of the Science Division, studied the data on humans carefully. "Their history shows unusual patterns," she told Daho. "They advance quickly through warfare. They often fight hardest when outmatched." Daho dismissed her concerns. 5 ships will be enough. Tomorrow, Earth joins the hegemony, willing or not. On Earth, Commander Rice watched the alien ships on radar. She picked up her secure phone. "They've chosen the hard way," she said. "Activate Protocol Pandora." Across the planet, hidden facilities powered up. Weapons that had never been revealed moved into position. Soldiers prepared for a fight the aliens didn't know was coming. The hegemony had conquered 3,000 worlds. They would soon learn that Earth was not like the others. Commander Sangmin stood on the bridge of his warship, looking down at the human city of Seattle. 4 more ships floated nearby, their weapons charged and ready. The morning sun glinted off their hulls. "Target their military installations first," he ordered. "Then government buildings. Minimal civilian casualties." The weapons officer nodded. "Firing in 3, 2, 1. The ship shuddered violently. Warning lights flashed across the control panels. "What was that?" Sangmin demanded. "Something hit us from the ground," the sensor officer said, voice rising in panic. "Energy signature unknown." Before Sangmin could respond, 3 more impacts rocked the ship. The engines failed. The warship began to fall. "Emergency protocols," he shouted. "Stabilize." On his screens, he watched in horror as 2 more of his ships erupted in flames. The remaining ships tried to retreat but were struck by weapons fired from hidden positions in the mountains. His ship crashed into the ocean 20 miles from shore. As the emergency systems deployed, keeping them afloat, Sangmin sent one final message to the fleet. "Humans not primitive." Repeat, "Humans not primitive." Admiral Daho could not believe the reports. 5 warships lost in less than 10 minutes. It was impossible. "How?" he demanded, slamming his fist on the table during the Emergency War Council meeting. Their technology was measured at pre-space level. Intelligence Officer He Jun's face was pale as he displayed his findings. "They deceived us. The technology we detected was their public technology. They have hidden their military capabilities." He showed images of advanced human weapons being moved from underground bunkers. Satellite-mounted energy weapons that had been disguised as communication arrays. Submarines carrying missiles that could strike ships in orbit. "They were ready for us," said Captain Jishu. "But how did they know to prepare?" High Counselor Minji's voice was cold. "It doesn't matter. No primitive world defies the hegemony and survives. Prepare the full invasion fleet." Admiral Sunhee stepped forward. "We should reconsider. Something about these humans is different." She displayed human historical records. These creatures evolved as prey animals but became apex predators. Their entire history is filled with warfare, against nature, against each other. They advance technology fastest during conflicts. She pointed to key statistics. They moved from first flight to landing on their moon in just 66 years. From discovering nuclear energy to weapons in less than 3 years. Their technological growth is exponential during crisis. Minji waved dismissively. 1,000 ships will crush any resistance. Their hidden technology cannot match our full might. Admiral Sun, he wasn't convinced. She quietly ordered a research team to study humans more carefully. Find their weaknesses, she instructed Chief Scientist Du Yun. There must be some. On Earth, Commander Rice watched the alien ships gathering in orbit. Their number had grown from dozens to hundreds. General Quan, her second-in-command, reviewed defense preparations. All hidden batteries are online. The orbital platforms are armed but still concealed. Ground forces are in position. Rice nodded. They'll come in larger numbers this time. They'll be angry. We should have shown all our technology from the start, said General Quan. Perhaps they would have left us alone. No, Rice said. The hegemony subjugates advanced worlds too. They just do it differently. They would have demanded our technology instead of just resources. She looked at the tactical display. Thousands of hidden weapon emplacements glowed green, ready for action. The production facilities deep underground were working at full capacity, building more weapons and ships. "We tried to warn them," she said quietly. "Now they'll learn what happens when you corner humanity." In his private chambers, Admiral Daho reviewed the human messages intercepted after the failed demonstration. One in particular troubled him. "Protocol Pandora activated," it said. He searched the hegemony databases for references to Pandora and found an old human myth about a box that, when opened, released all the evils and suffering in the world. For the first time, a seed of doubt grew in his mind, but it was too late to turn back. His career, perhaps his life, depended on conquering Earth. The invasion order was given. 1,000 hegemony warships began their approach to Earth, their weapons charged, their soldiers ready for what they believed would be a swift victory. On board her research vessel, Admiral Sun, he watched with growing dread. Her team had discovered something terrifying about humans. They were the only known species that fought harder when facing impossible odds. And now the hegemony had given them no choice but to fight. "May the stars have mercy on us," she whispered. "We have awakened something that does not know how to surrender." The invasion began at dawn. 1,000 hegemony ships descended through Earth's atmosphere in perfect formation. Their silver hulls gleamed in the sunlight as they spread across the planet. Admiral Daho watched from his command ship with satisfaction. This would be over quickly. "All ships in position," reported Captain Jisoo. "Ground forces preparing to land." "Begin the attack," ordered Daho. "Target their major military installations first." The hegemony ships fired in unison. Beams of energy struck Earth's surface, creating massive explosions. Daho smiled. No primitive world could withstand such power. His smile vanished as the sensor officer shouted, energy signatures appearing worldwide. Hidden weapon platforms emerged from oceans, mountains, and forests. Some rose from underground bunkers. Others decloaked in orbit. They fired in coordinated patterns, creating a web of energy that caught hundreds of hegemony ships. Evasive maneuvers. Daho ordered, but it was too late. 300 ships were destroyed in the first wave. Another 200 were damaged and falling from the sky. "How is this possible?" he whispered. On the surface, human soldiers waited in hidden positions. As hegemony ground troops landed, they found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to be everywhere and nowhere. Commander Bake, leading the hegemony ground forces, couldn't understand what was happening. "Where are they? I can't see them." His soldiers died around him, struck by weapons that changed frequency to bypass their shields. The humans used the terrain perfectly, appearing briefly to attack before vanishing again. "They fight like ghosts," Bake reported before his transmission was cut off. By the end of the first day, half the hegemony fleet was destroyed. Their ground forces were scattered and confused. What should have been an easy victory had become a nightmare. On Admiral Sun Hee's research vessel, Chief Scientist Du Yun worked frantically to understand their enemy. He studied captured human technology and historical records. "This is remarkable," he told Sun Hee. "Their weapons are based on principles we never explored. They developed quantum technology along completely different lines than ours. How did they advance so quickly without us noticing?" Sun Hee asked. Du Yun displayed images of underground facilities. They'd been preparing for alien contact for decades. They assumed it might be hostile. He showed her more data. "But there's something else. Look at their evolutionary path. Most species evolve to fill a specific niche. Humans evolved to adapt to any environment. They were prey animals that became predators through intelligence and cooperation." "And their history?" asked Sun Hee. "Constant warfare," Du Yun replied. "They fight against nature, against each other. But when faced with a common enemy, they unite with incredible effectiveness." He looked at her with fear in his eyes. "They don't follow normal patterns. When most species face superior force, they surrender to survive. Humans fight harder. They call it spite, continuing to fight even when victory seems impossible." Sun Hee watched footage of human soldiers rescuing wounded hegemony troops, yet they show mercy to prisoners. "Another strange trait," Du Yun agreed. They value individual life, but will sacrifice themselves for their group. It makes no evolutionary sense. In a prisoner camp near what was once Beijing, Hegemony officer Yi Jun woke in a clean bed. His wounds had been treated. A human doctor checked his vital signs. "Why help me?" Li Jun asked. "I was trying to kill you yesterday." The doctor shrugged. "That's not how we treat prisoners. Are you hungry?" Yi Jun couldn't understand. In the hegemony, prisoners were used for labor until they died. These humans were feeding him, treating his injuries. In another part of the camp, he saw humans arguing passionately, then laughing together. Species that looked different, spoke different languages, but worked together seamlessly. They're stronger because they're different, he realized. They don't force everyone to be the same. By the seventh day of the invasion, Admiral Daho faced the unthinkable. His mighty fleet was reduced to 300 functional ships. Ground forces were surrounded or captured. "We must retreat and regroup," Captain Jisoo urged. Before Daho could respond, Commander Elena Reyes appeared on his communication screen. Her face showed no anger, no triumph, only determination. "This can end now," she said. "Leave our system, and there will be no pursuit." "You think you've won?" Daho snarled. "The hegemony spans 3,000 worlds. We will return with 10,000 ships." Reyes shook her head. "Then we will give you one final warning. Run, not just from Earth, but from anywhere humans go in the future. Run, and don't look back." From the research vessel, Du Yun sent his final report to Sun He. "This species evolved to never surrender, and now we've given them a reason to follow us home." 6 months passed after the failed invasion of Earth. The hegemony worlds near the human solar system increased their defenses. Admiral Daho promised the High Council that Earth would be contained and eventually conquered. Then the reports came in. Hegemony border outposts going silent, scout ships disappearing, strange energy readings at the edges of controlled space. "They're coming." Admiral Sun, he warned the War Council. "The humans have built a fleet." High Counselor Minji dismissed her concerns. "Impossible. No species could build significant space forces in just 6 months." The next day, human ships appeared in hegemony space. They weren't the crude vessels the hegemony expected. These ships were sleek and fast, using technology that the hegemony sensors couldn't fully analyze. The first attack hit the military shipyards orbiting Vega Prime. The human vessels appeared suddenly, fired weapons that passed through hegemony shields as if they weren't there, and vanished again. They left the civilian areas untouched. Operation Phoenix is underway, Commander Reyes announced to Earth's United Governments. On the screens behind her, footage showed human ships striking deep into enemy territory. "We are targeting only military installations, no civilian casualties." General Quan presented the battle updates. "Their defenses are strong but predictable. Our new drives give us the advantage of surprise." Admiral Sun, he watched refugee ships arriving at the capital world. 7 border systems lost in 2 weeks, she reported to the council. "The humans are moving faster than we can respond." "How?" demanded Minji. "They were primitives." "They were never primitives," Sun He replied. "They were different. Their history forced them to develop technologies we never needed. Their wars against themselves became preparation for us." A junior officer rushed in with more alarming news. "The Crawl system has declared independence from the hegemony. They're being aided by human ships." The Crawl were one of many species the hegemony had conquered centuries ago. Now they were rising up, inspired by the human success. "This is spreading," Sun He warned. 3 more subject worlds have contacted the humans seeking alliances. "Treason," Minji shouted. "Any world that deals with humans will be destroyed." "With what ships?" Sun He asked quietly. "Our main battle fleet is scattered or destroyed. The humans are offering these worlds something we never did, partnership instead of subjugation." On the liberated world of Crawl, Commander Reyes met with local leaders. The Krawl were reptilian beings who had lived under hegemony rule for 5 centuries. "We offer alliance, not conquest," Reyes explained. "Each world governs itself. We stand together against threats." The Krawl leader, an elderly female named Sira, studied the human carefully. "Why help us? What do you gain?" "Allies," Reyes answered simply. "And we right a wrong. No species should rule over another." Sarah nodded slowly. "The hegemony never spoke to us this way. They took what they wanted and called it protection. We have a different approach," Reyes said. As more worlds joined the human alliance, the hegemony's empire began to crumble. Species that had been conquered centuries ago found new hope in the humans' example. Admiral Daho watched his carefully constructed defensive line collapse. "These humans fight like nothing I've ever seen," he told the War Council. "They strike where we're weakest, then disappear before we can respond." "They're animals," High Counselor Minji insisted. "They can't defeat 3,000 years of hegemony rule." "They already have," Sun He said, displaying a map of their territory. Systems marked in red, those lost to humans or rebellion, now outnumbered those still loyal to the hegemony. "We must negotiate," Sun He urged, "before we lose everything." Minji's eyes narrowed. "Negotiate with primitives? Never. We will gather our remaining forces at the capital. We will make our stand there." As the council meeting ended, Sun He received a private message from her research team. They had been studying human culture and history more deeply. "They value freedom above all else," the report concluded. "But they also understand mercy. They fight with terrible efficiency, but stop when an enemy surrenders." Sun He made her decision. The hegemony's pride would destroy them all unless someone acted. She began quietly contacting military officers she trusted. A plan formed in her mind, not to defeat the humans, but to save her people from their own leaders. As human ships moved closer to the hegemony throne world, Sun He prepared for the most difficult battle of her career, not against the humans, but against the system she had served her entire life. The human fleet appeared at the edge of the hegemony throne world system. 500 ships moved in perfect formation, their hulls bearing the scars of previous battles. At their center flew Commander Reyes' flagship, Defiance. On the planet below, panic spread through the capital city. Civilians rushed to evacuation ships. Military vessels moved to defensive positions. The hegemony's last stand was beginning. The hegemony's remaining ships and orbital platforms unleashed a storm of energy against the human fleet. For a moment, it seemed the humans would be overwhelmed by the sheer volume of fire. Then the impossible happened. The human ships split into smaller groups, moving with uncanny precision. They flowed around the hegemony fire like water around rocks. Not a single human vessel was destroyed. "How?" Captain Jisoo whispered. "No fleet can move that perfectly." Admiral Daho had no answer. The humans had developed technology that let their ships move as one mind, adapting instantly to threats. It was beyond anything the hegemony had imagined possible. The human ships didn't immediately return fire. Instead, they took up positions surrounding the planet. Then Commander Reyes' face appeared on communication screens across the hegemony capital. "People of the hegemony, I am Commander Elena Reyes of Earth. We have disabled your outer defenses. Your remaining ships cannot stop us. But we did not come here for destruction." Her eyes were calm but determined. "6 months ago, we warned your leaders to run. They chose to ignore that warning. Now we offer one final chance for peace." High Counselor Minji screamed at her officers, "Cut this transmission. Launch all weapons." Before anyone could obey, the doors to the War Council chamber burst open. Admiral Sun He entered, followed by armed soldiers loyal to her. "This ends now," Sun He said quietly. "Too many have died for pride." Minji reached for her weapon, but Sun He was faster. The High Counselor fell, stunned by Sun He's blast. "Arrest Admiral Daho and the remaining council members," Son, he ordered. Then restore the human transmission. Commander Ray's face returned to the screens. We never wanted war, she continued. We asked you to leave us in peace, and you chose violence. Now you understand why we warned you to run. She paused, and something unexpected crossed her face. Compassion. But unlike you, we don't seek dominion. We offer terms, not surrender, but a new beginning. In the Imperial Palace, Admiral Sun He took control of the government. I accept your offer to discuss terms, she told Reyes. The fighting ends today. 3 days later, representatives from Earth and the hegemony met aboard the Defiance. The peace treaty was unlike anything in hegemony history. There would be no conquered worlds, no tribute, no subjugation. The hegemony will release all controlled worlds, Rise explained. Each species will choose its own path. Those who wish to form alliances may do so freely. Sun He studied the human. And what does Earth want in return? Recognition of our sovereignty, Rise said. Free trade, cultural exchange, and one more thing. She pointed to the final clause of the treaty. Sun He read it with confusion. I don't understand this provision. It's simple, Rise explained. For the next 1,000 years, all hegemony educational systems will teach one lesson. If humans ever say run, you don't ask questions. You run. Is this about vengeance? Sun He asked. Rai shook her head. It's about memory. The galaxy should remember that peaceful species can become terrible when provoked. It might prevent the next war. Sun He considered this. You could have destroyed us completely. Why show mercy? Because that's the real difference between us, Rai said. The hegemony never understood that true strength isn't about how much you can destroy. It's about what you choose to preserve. As Sun He signed the treaty, she asked one final question. What was Operation Phoenix? Why that name? Rai smiled slightly. In human mythology, the phoenix is a bird that burns completely, but is then reborn from its ashes. We believe that even if Earth burned, humanity would rise again. But now, perhaps something better can rise from the ashes of war, a galaxy where species help each other instead of conquering. In the years that followed, the former hegemony worlds adjusted to their new freedom. Some formed their own alliances, others joined the growing Earth Confederation. The hegemony itself transformed into a single world government under Sun He's leadership, and throughout the galaxy, a new respect for humans spread. They were welcomed as traders, diplomats, and teachers, but they were also remembered as warriors unlike any the galaxy had seen before. Earth's scientists had reverse-engineered hegemony technology from the captured ships, but they had improved upon it in ways the aliens never considered. Human AI systems evolved constantly, adapting to hegemony tactics. Their weapons used principles the hegemony had dismissed as inefficient. In the Imperial Palace, High Counselor Minji watched the approaching fleet with rage and fear. Fire everything we have, she ordered. Destroy them. In the hegemony's archives, a new protocol was established. It was taught to every child, included in every military manual, and remembered by all who had witnessed the war. If humans ever say run, you don't ask why. You run.